Welcome back to Virginia this morning. Well, eggnog is a traditional sweet dairy-based beverage that I dare say everyone enjoys. I know that's not true, but like Tom mentioned, he hadn't even tried it yet. So give it a try. Here's a delicious creation that you can use that you can put the eggnog in to make this popular seasonal drink. Take a look.
If you're looking for a tasty way to use up your holiday eggnog, we have a recipe or two that you're going to love. Our great friend of the show, Mary Rapoport with the Virginia Egg Council, whips up some homemade eggnog bread for us and other treats. Hey, Mary, good to see you.
It's wonderful to see you. And you have chickens, don't you? You have your own chickens, right?
I do. We do. We have them. This time of year, the production's a little low. I've spoken to the team about getting production back up. But, and when spring comes, they'll be back in full gear.
Well, come the warmer weather and the light. I think it has to do with the light.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you've got plenty of eggs and stuff to do with our eggnog.
Oh man, I just love this time of year because I love eggnog. But if you're made homemade eggnog, it doesn't keep a long time. It will turn in about a week. So you want to make sure you use that. And even store-bought eggnog, you're not going to be able to keep it forever. Okay. So this is a wonderful recipe. It's a quick bread. And a quick bread means it doesn't rise, like regular bread with yeast and that kind of thing. So what I have done is put everything out in front of me right away so I'm not racing back and forth to my kitchen cabinets. Okay. To begin with, I have 2 1/4 cup of flour in this bowl right here. And into this, I'm adding a container of instant pudding. This is vanilla instant pudding. A lot of us happen to just have these in the cupboards, the small container of instant pudding. And into that, it goes 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and you mix it all up together, and that's all set. Now in this bowl, previously I took a stick of butter, bring it to room temperature so you can whip it up easily, and I put in a cup of sugar also. This is not a super sweet bread that you're making, but I've whipped it up like this. And into this, I'm putting 2 eggs.
So, Mary, when you're doing this, obviously, eggnog is a treat. I mean, it's not something we would do all year long because you got a whole stick of butter and sugar and everything. But it's a holiday tradition. It's something we love.
Absolutely, right. And usually when you make eggnog, you're not making eggnog with skim milk because then it loses it. But but it is caloric. But this is a wonderful, wonderful bread, actually, that's made with this. This is 1.5 cups of eggnog. So if you've got a situation where you've got 1.5 cups left, use it. If you don't have 1.5 cups left, use whatever you have that's left and add milk to it.
Well, in normal years, we probably wouldn't have any left because we got a lot of folks coming over. But this year, there may be a little left, yeah.
There might be a little left. And then this is a teaspoon of either rum or rum extract. I tend to like to use rum. Now,
is that just normal rum or spiced rum?
No. It's just regular golden rum. I always like to buy regular golden rum for baking. Okay. And then what you do then is you put this all together in here. You're going to mix it up. And once it's all mixed, you can use the mixer or you can just do it like I'm doing, stirring it like this. Once it's all stirred up, I'm going to put some leftover cranberries also. Come May, we're not really that excited about having cranberries. So go ahead and put some of those in there. That's about 1/2 cup. You can't add too many cranberries, I don't think. And then here's some leftover nuts, too. Whatever nuts you happen to have.
Mary, I've never heard cranberries and eggnog. I wouldn't have thought those two to put together, but you're making bread here.
It's so delicious. Great. Look at this right here. This is done now. This is ready for me to put it in a baking pan. And look what I've done here. This is a trick that I've learned that is so nice. You line your baking pan with parchment going this way, parchment going this way. Then when you put it in like this and you bake it, it does take a long time to bake, 350 degrees for 60 to 70 minutes. And It really takes that amount of time. Yeah. But when it's done, you lift it up like this and it leaves a clean pan and it's wonderful. Here's the finished product. And the pudding in there,
Wow.
is that gorgeous?
Look at that.
The pudding in there makes it almost cake-like. It's just fabulous. Okay, so let's say you still have some eggnog left over. A great thing to do would be to
I'm
make.
glad you got your apron on there. That thing's that
I know,
makes her
I'm
attack
just kind of
you.
a mess right here. This is why aprons are good to wear. Okay, this is a wonderful French toast that I made. Have you ever eaten panettone, Bill?
No.
You haven't? Well, panettone, everybody, you see this everywhere. Panettone is sold in stores at this time of year, and it's in a box like this,
Uh-huh.
and it's a very spicy sort of sweet bread. It's Italian. I'm Italian, so I have to have it every year. And this is what it looks like. But towards the end of the holiday, it's, again, you're kind of over it. A good thing to do with this is to make French toast. And French toast, honestly,
I love French
easiest-
toast. I
easiest
love
thing in the
French
world.
toast.
Yeah. And so for 2 slices of French toast, it's 1 egg beaten. And again, this is my leftover eggnog. I'm going to put this in place of water. And you use about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, mix it up together like this. Take the bread, which is really kind of stale at this point. Make sure you use tongs, or if you're doing it just for yourself, turn it around like this, let it soak in beautifully. Look at this, it's just soaking in like that. And then you just put it on a skillet and fry pan. Rather than syrup, I'm just gonna drizzle some, look at this. This is just some strawberries, frozen strawberries that I've thawed, some powdered sugar. Is this gorgeous? So look at this. This could almost be a dessert. A little dollop of whipped cream.
Why
And of
not?
course, what do you think about that? Is that gorgeous?
Gosh.
Eggnog French toast. And lastly, where's here it is right here.
You had a treat for us.
Yeah, this is so fun too. I washed out my styrofoam egg carton that was empty, washed it out really well. And then you pour leftover eggnog just in this little holes, the cavities, and then about an hour after and then you freeze it. And then about an hour later, once it's kind of, it can hold a stick, I cut popsicle sticks in half, and then look at this. Honestly, these are so delicious. Stick them in the freezer. They make wonderful popsicles, eggnog popsicles. You stick back in the freezer like this. And these are great ideas to use up that leftover holiday eggnog.
Great job. So much fun. Thank you so much. I would have never thought of the frozen eggnog or even the French toast. Love them both. Great recipes. And we'll post them on our show website by later today at WTVR.com/VTM.
Don't mind me. I'm just freshening up.
You know what was really interesting? It was like she is so creative with using the eggs and everything, but the French toast,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, you eat that, you're going to vibrate. I mean, it's just like, it was like powdered sugar and whipped cream and the eggnog. It was like, yeah, you eat that and you probably won't have to eat for another month. I mean, never mind leftover anything. That was great.
Well, it's funny because, obviously I like to drink it, but if you were lucky enough to have some left over, there's a myriad of possibilities, right? Including that French toast and I
The bread
mentioned the
that looked
pound
like
cake.
cake. The bread that looked
Yes.
like cake, yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. So I hope Tom, decides one day that it's worth it. I guess there's always next year. We'll work on him this year.
Put the cranberries in the eggnog and make it in bread. Yeah, why haven't we
Yeah.
thought of that before? Thank you, Mary.
Where
That
have
was
I been?
great. All right, please don't go away because we're going to have more bread, more show coming up in just a moment. Or maybe some bread. Well, welcome back to Virginia this morning. Jess, I don't know that you can able get a handle on this, but we're at the end of the show already. It's almost 10 o'clock.
It is hard to believe, but we've said it before and I'll say it again today. Time flies when you're having fun. So it's been a morning well spent.
So of all the things we did this morning, and I kind of really enjoyed the eggnog segment with the bread that looked like cake and then the little eggnog pops. which is got to be like a creamsicle almost, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
those had to be good. And then, of course, that French toast was so over the top. So I'm glad we got to learn that one. I don't know that, and I've never even thought about it. I mean, eggnog is basically dairy and eggs whipped together and stuff. So for baking, it's great. And I know you're a great baker.
Well, it's funny because as we were thinking and about, other ways to use it, you could make eggnog pancakes, and those are one of my regular things. So if you really had to use it up, again, we have no problem using it up in this household, but if you had some to use, you could put it in there. But really, here's where it gets extra fun. There's all sorts of like dedicated glassware and like serving vessels for eggnog, like eggnog punch bowls and like little eggnog cups. So really, you know how I am with having like specialized serving ware and that sort of thing, not being extra fancy, just that it's something unique. That's why I really love eggnog.
That is such a girly thing to say.
And when you have some of my eggnog out of the fun cups, I'm sure
Is it
you
glass?
won't.
I bet it's glass, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's glass.
Oh, yeah.
Appropriately, it's usually milk glass, right? Like there are these old-fashioned bowls. Fire King or Anchor Hocking made them in maybe like the 60s, that sort of thing.
Yep.
I'm always like
Mom
combing the streets.
had those. Yeah, definitely. So
Yeah.
it's a tradition. So, so
You get down the eggnog bowl,
clean
you
them
put
up
the-
and pack them away for another year, and then they come out for a special occasion.
Yes.
See, I have plasticware.
I was going to say, I take it you're not dusting off your eggnog bowl
No.
and getting it ready each.
Maybe Tupperware. I'm not quite as
That-
fancy as you are.
Well, that was another thing. I'm glad you bring up the Tupperware. Each Christmas morning, we always have deviled eggs. I have a special deviled egg carrier, not
Of
to be
course
confused
you
with
do.
the deviled egg plate. It was Tupperware. I had to dig that out this year too.